to Pop Culture Ponderers, as we like to call it, PCP. This shit's so good that you're gonna get hooked. I'm with my co-host Lauren.
Hi guys, this is me. Alright, so this week our first topic where we wanted to dive in was going to be dragons. We have Dragon Digest. That's where we're going to start. Alright, perfect. So on Pop Culture Ponderers, we've got a couple of different things that we're trying to do. We, the Ponderers, have some questions that we would like answered. We've got a couple of different fandoms that we would like them answered in, and hopefully you guys too. And so we're just going to be wandering topic by topic, whatever interests us, whatever has caught our attention, whatever we feel like discussing, and whatever you guys are interested in too. That's going to be our whole goal with this. So we're going to start this first episode with dragons.
We decided that this would probably be the easiest way to kind of meld together all the different genres that we're looking into, and I think this was the easiest way to introduce everything.
Yeah, it gives us the chance to kind of look at a bunch of different things. It keeps us in the world of our sci-fi and our fantasy and our magic, which is where we like to live. But yeah, we have lots of options. So first we've got our list of dragons. We went through the things that we like, the things that we know really well, and we came up with our, maybe not our all-time favorite dragons, but we've got a wide range here of some highs and some lows.
Yeah, I agree on that.
Yeah, right? There's some really strong contenders and some that I'm a little nervous about. But I'm going to run through, we can go one by one and kind of go through our list.
Sure.
Our first dragon is going to be Smaug from The Hobbit, a well-known dragon. He is definitely one of the older ones on our list in terms of when he was first introduced into pop culture, and is fairly well known, has been represented in both the book and on screen, so that gives us a lot to work with.
All right, then we got a heavy hitter from the anime kind, and we got Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a pretty tough contender, I feel like.
Yeah, you gotta here we have both danger and cuteness, which is hard to beat in a dragon.
Yeah.
Next up is going to be Saphira from Aragon, another where we have both the book and the movie. We've got slight differences here. She's maybe not as well known, but we think that she's got a lot of merit to her. She's got some special abilities that we wanted to highlight, so she made our list.
All right, then we got from the House of Dragons, Valgar.
Vagar. Yes. No, that's going to be a constant fun one whenever we have anything from Game of Thrones. The names. Yeah. Our next is also going to be from that universe. We have Drogon. We could have looked at all three of the dragons, and in both of these universes we had a lot of dragons to choose from, but we wanted to highlight one from each that are going to be kind of our big bads from those two categories or those two shows.
Which one's this now? The
Norwegian Ridgeback.
Right. From Harry Potter.
Yes.
Don't know much about Harry Potter. I know there was a couple dragons I got to get back into watching.
Mm-hmm. Eventually I will. We're going to slowly move you through all of those. But yes, again, this was a universe where we had lots of dragons to choose from. I could have taken us from Norbert all the way to our Gringotts Guardian, but I decided that we would go ahead and take Harry's dragon from the fourth challenge, from the fourth book, and we'd go ahead and focus on the Norwegian Ridgeback. And now this is one of both of our favorites. We had strong attachments to him. Yep. This is going to be Draco from Dragonheart. There might be a lot of people that don't know this movie. I feel like it's not as well known.
No.
But if you've seen it, it's hard not to love it.
Yeah. No, it was a movie that I watched over and over again as a kid.
Yes. I probably watched it over and over again in my adulthood as well. But yeah, Draco, we had to include him.
Absolutely. And then another one that you're not going to see coming is our man Mushu from Mulan.
Mushu!
Definitely an underdog, but
how do you not?
He's so lovable.
Yeah, exactly. How do you not count him in? So this one, again, we kind of went rogue on this, but we had a deep attachment to it. Going to be a long name. We have the Marvelous Mad Madam Mim. This is going to come from the Sword and the Stone. Technically, not originally a dragon, a witch, but since she uses the form, we're going to count her on our list. It's fun enough. We wanted her on here.
And another favorite from the animations is Dragon from Shrek. She's one of the lovable characters from the movie, and definitely going to be a contender, I feel like.
Yeah, she's got enough personality. It's going to hold her pretty well. We have Now this is going to be a category of dragons. This is the only one that doesn't have like a real specific name. We're going to count Dragon from Shrek as a name. But the movie Reigns of Fire, so that's got Christian Bale, Matthew McConaughey, and the dragons in that one are spectacular. That entire world is dominated by them, so they're a formidable force. They came onto our list for that.
Then we got Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty, which, you know, she's pretty rough and tough, so I think we got something there.
Right? Again, another transformation dragon, not her only form, but it's powerful enough that she's going to count for us. Now we're going to move all the way to Marvel. We're going to bring it really, really modern, and we have the Spirit Dragon from Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Seven Rings. This one's a little different, not necessarily as focal to the story that's being told, but cool enough. And, you know, we got to keep Marvel in there somehow, so we wanted to put her on. And
our last contender, which I think is going to be pretty tough to beat just from what it could do, is the Hydra from Hercules.
Yeah. Now, the Hydra shows up in a whole bunch. We've got that one all the way from the ancient Greek myths. But, you know, the animated movie Hercules, that Hydra I'll always remember that. Also Danny DeVito's voice, but that one's going to stay on there just for that for me. All right, cool. So we have our list of dragons. We're going to take a look at kind of their abilities, what we think are the best, what's the most important to us. If we had to pick one of these dragons to be a companion or a pet or to join us in a fight, who would it be? We've got a lot of personality on this list.
Oh, there's a ton of personality.
Yeah, I want to know who your favorite is, who you think has the best voice, and who you think was done the best. And then I want to go all out. If we had all of our dragons come out in a brawl, who do we think is our number one? Who is the dragon that comes out on top?
That's going to be an interesting topic.
I will be curious
to figure out who's going to be on top and who's going to reign supreme in this one.
All right, so do we want to dive in? Do we want to kind of go through them and look at their abilities? Or do we want to start with our favorites and just...
I guess we could go with favorites first.
All right, let's go with our champions. Do you want to start off with anybody that sticks out for you on our list?
See, this is a tough one because right off the bat, I'm going to say Toothless with his personality is incredible, and then the fact that in movie 2 he becomes the alpha of all the dragons.
I know. So, okay, if we're looking at Toothless abilities, we've got flight, we have fire, we undoubtedly have intelligence. He figures out a way to work with and communicate with human beings. Exactly. He becomes the alpha. We also know that he's flame resistant, so that's going to be pretty important in terms of our dragon factors. Although I am concerned because for a lot of it, he does need a human rider or a human bond.
Yeah, that is a downfall for him.
I like it in terms of his personality, but it might make him a problem in a fight. But I mean, look at that little face. How do you do better than that cute little face?
Yeah. No, they definitely had a good design with him.
Yeah. I like that he has a sense of humor, too. That's one of the things, like, I always enjoyed the bond between him and Hiccup and how it really changed that entire society. Like, him being the dragon that he was and loving Hiccup changed the belief system of all of these people, really got them to widen their views, even within their own world. And that, I think, makes him special.
I think so, too.
All right. So that's going to be up there. Then I'm going to go with my animated favorite, and that's going to take us to Mushu. My main man, Mushu. All right, so as we're looking at his dragon abilities, no flight on the little guy. That's okay. He does have fire, can light a rocket if we need him to. Intelligence, unquestionably.
Oh, absolutely. He did a lot of trickery in the movie and
exactly
made himself look way bigger than he actually was.
Constantly full of mischief. He speaks, which is going to be a special ability. He's one of the few dragons that we have on our list that has a voice by the incredible Eddie Murphy. One of the best little voice acting roles that I think has been done in the Disney world. That dragon is, from beginning to end, fantastic. And we know that he has a magic or a mystical connection. Now, I do have a con on my Mushu list, and that is he is a known liar. He is a known liar, okay? Full of tricks, could be a problem.
Yeah.
He also lists that he says he can get bigger, and he says he has X-ray vision, but I'm going to put you back to point one, known liar.
Yeah.
Okay, we have no proof of these things. Concern.
Yeah, no, that definitely sets him back a little bit, but all in all, pretty good dragon.
Yes, I do still like him. All right, who's next on your list? Who comes up for you again?
This one's going back to my childhood, but Draco.
Oh, yes.
Dragonheart.
Draco is going to be one of the top, one of our favorite dragons. Okay, so when we're looking at Draco, here we have our classic dragon abilities, okay? He's got flight, he's got fire, he's got intelligence, he speaks Sean Connery.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a
voice
better than that. Exactly. And we have here a sense of morality too, and of goodness, of true goodness. This is a creature who literally gives half of his heart to sustain a human life because he believes in, despite the fact that humans have caused unimaginable pain to him and his species, he still believes in the potential goodness of us. Gonna give him bonus parts because he can survive, or bonus points just because he can survive with half a heart.
Yeah.
That's a pretty great ability right there, so not bad. You okay? We're just taking a momentary break. Oh, okay, we're all set. Yeah, so exactly, I do like that too. Trickery points on Draco too. Swindles numerous town people out of their money in collusion with Quake. Okay, let's keep eyes on that. All right, that's a potential problem.
That's true.
We got to have our eyes on these tricky dragons.
That could help him though in one of these battles, being a little mischievous and.
I know. I also feel like the trickery allows for collusion and alliances. I could see a building of forces here with some of our dragons. We have to see. Some of them are pure instinct, so I don't know if that would go all the way. Looking at our instinct dragons, that's going to put both the Hydra and the Rain of Fire dragons for me. Those are instinct creatures. So if we look at the Hydra, dragon ability, shockingly low. We have no flight. We have fire only in certain mythologies, no intelligence, wild beast strength, doesn't speak, no magic or mystical ability except for an immortal head and the ability to regrow them when you chop them off.
Yeah.
Now, that actually works pretty well in its advantage against a human being. There's no question that, unless you're really like Hercules, it's going to take you down. But I don't know, like if you bring enough dragon in here, there's enough dragons to take out a head each. I don't know how long the Hydra makes it. Our dragons from Rain of Fire, however, we've got a whole bunch of dragon abilities. We have fire, we have flight. We don't have intelligence here, but we do have, again, like an alpha hierarchy. They're arranged around that male. He is the strongest of them. I did notice, as we were going back through and looking, that they do have some eyesight difficulties. That is how they are eventually brought down. So, I do want a dragon that can see, although they are, before that point, able to decimate all of humanity.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider.
That's pretty rough.
Yeah, I think I would be concerned. All right, I'm going to kick it back to you. Pick another dragon for me.
And honestly, I think the last one I'm going to go with on my favorites is Smaug.
Oh, okay.
He can fly, has the ability for fire, intelligent, and once again can speak.
And it takes Cumberbatch.
Exactly.
That's true. Again, flame and heat resistant too. We watch him withstand the gold. We know that doesn't hurt him. Now he is distracted by treasure. Okay, shiny trinkets, much like a cat, could throw him off. I want you to keep that in mind.
That is true.
Yes. Okay, so some of my favorites, because this is a fandom that I'm super huge into, read the books, watched the shows. We haven't gotten you through them, but eventually I will. I'm gonna come in with my Game of Thrones dragons. I'm gonna come in with both Drogon and Vhagar. They've got their pluses and minuses each. So Vhagar is from House of the Dragons and is the oldest dragon that we ever see on screen, which means Vhagar is huge. In terms of my list of dragons here, I don't think anybody takes Vhagar for size. Pound for pound, it's Vhagar. But with the size and the age comes, yes, Vhagar can fly, but it takes a long running start to get up there, and it's a lot of work. She's old. It makes her tired. She really can't. She can blow fire, but she has to be motivated a long way to come up to any fight. She is happy to sit there and let the little ones come at her and be like, cool, I could squish you if I needed to. So in terms of fight motivation, a little rough. But you got Drogon. Drogon is always ready for a fight. He, every so often, will snap at Dany. We do have his two brothers here. We did not include them on the list, but we're going to give an honorable mention to both Rhaegal and Vhagar. We love all of our Game of Thrones dragons. We are heartbroken for everything that occurs for them, but we're going to count Drogon as our big bad here. He's the biggest. He's Dany's most faithful. He is her longest companion, and I think that in terms of my dragons, they're going to come up there. They have intelligence, but they can't speak, so we have less communication with them. They understand our language, but have their own motivations. So I'm going to throw those up there. All right, now we're going to look at some of our lesser known dragons. How are we feeling about Saphira?
Saphira, like, I did enjoy the movie and the storyline behind it, but I mean, she has the fire abilities, flying, intelligence, and speech, and the magical abilities, which is good too. But the fact that she is bonded with one person, and if he dies, she dies, that's could be really rough.
Yeah, so that human bond is going to be a huge, huge factor for me. It's the same thing that we see with Draco from Dragonheart, is what happens to that human being with his heart, what happens to that part of him, and that human heart even affects him. That bond with a human being is going to be a huge factor, and for Saphira, especially the dragons within that world, that is major. Eventually, when you get through some of the books too, you do get examples of dragons who have survived without a rider, who have lost a rider and lived. But the emotional and psychic toll, like again, it's a huge PTSD factor. It really does affect those dragons. So yeah, I like her, but that human bond makes me nervous too. I am going to point out, I like that we have our own dragon culture there. I like that they have armor. They have generational learning and teaching. They have their own mythologies and stories that they pass down within that world from dragon to dragon, certain things that only dragons know. And that's a special thing. We don't see that with a lot of our dragons. Even with like our dragon world in Toothless, we don't see as much connection within the dragons. They still only relate to humans. Yeah. Saphira and Aragon is a world where the dragons have their own vibe going on. I like that. Okay, and we look at some of our others. The Norwegian Ridgeback from Harry Potter. Again, this is one where essentially that's just like a scary, scary beast. He's got the flight, he's got the fire, no intelligence, no magical ability, doesn't speak. And frankly, Harry outsmarts him with a broom. So any dragon you can fly away from, probably not going to win it for me.
No.
Let's see,
I think the last one we got on the list was the Spirit Dragon.
Now the Spirit Dragon. What are your takes on the Spirit Dragon? You bring me in on this one.
I liked them in Shang-Chi, where that final battle scene where he's fighting the I can't think of
the Soul Eater.
That's it.
Does the Soul Eater have an official name? Please drop it in our comments or let us know, because it's skipping me right now.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that fight scene. It was definitely intelligent. Couldn't speak, but it kind of had a bond with the siblings as they were fighting.
Yes, clearly is on ours. It clearly understands the motivation is with us in that fight. Makes me nervous though, because it has a soul.
Yeah.
We see that major weakness as it's being pulled out. And my concern there is, again, how much is that soul tied to the goodness of humanity? Anytime you have a dragon that depends on a human being, I feel it's a little bit like having a lion that really needs a mouse to ride on its back. I am concerned long term about that partnership.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. I like the Spirit Dragon for that too. That does help me a lot. Okay, so I think that kind of runs through our abilities. Now, if you're picking a number one, I'm going to break this down into two categories too. I'm going to have one that you're living your regular life. Here as it is. We've got your house, your modern conveniences. Who do you want as a pet? Who's your little dragon companion? Who's hanging out with you in your day-to-day life? And then I want cool. We've gone apocalyptic. The world has ended. There are battles everywhere. Which dragon is your fighter? Who is it that we're ride or die with? Who are we taking to the end?
If we're going on as like a pet,
I know who this is gonna be.
See, this is where I think I'm gonna get you.
What do you got?
If we're going on a pet, I'm gonna say Mushu.
Oh, it is completely. I'm sure it was gonna be Toothless. You did. You got me.
Because one, you can hang out and you guys could BS and talk and hang out, and honestly, I can't afford any of these dragons to feed them.
You need a small, easy to feed dragon.
Oh yeah.
One that fits nicely in the house. That is a good point. That is a good point. A pocket-sized dragon.
And a dragon that talks like Eddie Murphy would probably be hilarious.
Okay, which is fun. But at a certain point, how much is Mushu just roasting you in your day-to-day life? Okay?
Honestly, like that's a normal day for me.
You
my
can handle
coworkers,
it.
so I think it'll be pretty fun.
Nice. Okay, Mushu is a solid contender for me too. If I'm picking a buddy dragon, okay, but see, I might steal Toothless. I might take Toothless then, because one, Toothless has the same vibes as my little cat. You know, I'm a sucker for a little black face with huge green eyes staring at me. Okay, that brings me in right there. But also, just look at that playful puppiness. I could be prancing around in the street. I can go for little mini flights if I need to. And I talk enough that really, I don't know if I need another set of voice coming at my house all day. So I might take Toothless as my little companion dragon.
Yeah, this one was tough for a companion dragon.
I know. I like Saphira too. She came close for me just because of intelligence and companionship, but I do seem to remember her crushing and burning a couple houses. And as you're mentioning expenses, that does seem important to me now.
Yeah. I don't know in the modern day if you're going to get insurance if you had a pet dragon.
Right? I know. I feel like that's going to disqualify you really, really quick. I do think that Mushu would probably be the easiest to feed, and I feel like he would also have recipes that he could supply me. I feel like Mushu has a set of skills that are untapped in the movie. Like, he probably has, like, connections through the spirit world. He's got a whole bunch of ancient recipes, a family guidebook, you know.
The ancestors passed it down, so
yes,
they'll know it all.
Right? I bet Mushu makes some mean dumpling. All right, well, I can see Mushu is a strong choice there. All right, we're going to switch directions now. It's apocalypse. You can pick the apocalypse of your kind. I guess we're going to go with the end of the world because apocalypse is specific. But it's the end of the world. I don't care if it's zombies coming for you. I don't care if the monsters have risen up. I don't care what it is. But you got one dragon that's going to get you through the danger. One dragon that you rely on. Who is it going to be?
Kind of torn on this one. Not 100%. Because you're going to want one that you're going to be able to, like, you're going to want some intelligence, I feel like.
Absolutely.
And you got your dragons that we spoke of that do bond with humans.
Mm-hmm.
And not going back to Toothless, but he is pretty fantastic for being, like, understanding what Hiccup was doing, and, like, he kind of knew what to do. He
definitely does. They have like an innate understanding of each other. There's an unspoken bond and an unspoken communication between the two of them. That's for sure. Now, I want to bring up Toothless's flight capabilities. If you need a dragon that can go out and defend when you're on the ground, is Toothless your guy?
Oh, definitely not.
Exactly.
This is where I was thinking I might go into Game of Thrones with Drogon.
Nice. Okay.
Not for the massive size, like.
Vagar gets a little too large for that.
But considering he's always ready to brawl in battle.
Yes, Drogon will. And we see the same thing with Dany, where he has an innate bond with her. She is mother to these dragons. So exactly, like, he will, even if he doesn't listen to her like a dog would, he will instinctively prioritize her and look to protect and defend her whenever possible. Drogon is high for me in terms of a dragon that I wanted to fight. Yeah, I'm going to give him high marks. I like something like, weird choice, but I kind of like Maleficent as a defense dragon, because I feel like I can also use her magical capabilities, but her intelligence and her own will and desire, the fact that she is a sorceress and an enchantress before she's a dragon, means I'm probably not keeping her on side. She's only fighting with me so long as she thinks the goal is worth it.
That's a factor.
Right? I don't know if I can rely on her when it comes, like when push comes to shove. I don't know if she stays on sides for me. So yeah, I might come down to Drogon too.
I feel like that's a pretty safe bet if we're in an apocalyptic situation.
Right? We're looking at Game of Thrones dragons, guys. That is the way to go. That's what gets you through.
You got someone that's ready to brawl.
Right?
And if he's attached to you, like you were saying, he's going to defend you.
Yeah, he knows his word exactly. And every so often you can throw out a little Dracarys there and have him burn someone straight down to the ground for you without hesitation. That's not a bad thing. All right, so I do like the fire that comes with him, and I like his flight. Which are the dragon abilities that we think are the most important? If you're picking something off our list, all of the things that we looked at, what do you think makes the dragon the most formidable?
I mean, in this list, we got a lot of contenders that have a lot of size, which is a factor. But with size, you're not as agile, and speed could be a benefit.
I know. We've seen that. Like, even within, like, we're going to go back to our man Toothless here. Within his world, his agility counts more than size does at certain points.
Yeah.
Within the House of the Dragon world, too. So Vagar is huge. There's no question that all the little dragons would have to come together. But we've also seen within that world some of the smaller dragons be able to whip around her faster than she can get her head over to bite. So size is going to factor into. Speed is not to be discounted with a dragon.
Not at all.
What do we think? Does it need to breathe fire? Are we using that all the time?
You're not going to use it all the time. There might be a little bit of scratching and clawing and biting.
Right?
The size would help, but if they don't have the speed to catch it.
Yeah, exactly. That is a constant concern.
So I feel like one of these mid-sized dragons would probably be
a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
I do for sure want my dragon to have flight, though.
absolutely.
I do not want a grounded dragon. Because we have Mushu, Marvelous Mad Madam Mim, and the Hydra. They're locked on the ground. I'm sorry, that does not carry you through a fight.
Yeah, no, once it goes to the sky, they have an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say those guys are out.
All right, cool. I think so too. Yeah, for me, I think that the most formidable is going to be, I want a combination. The most important traits for me are going to be intelligence. I want to be able to really communicate and work with that, and flight. For me, as long as I can do those two things, I think I can rock with pretty much everything else. All right, that's going to bring us to our battle royale then. If we think we're going up against them all, if we're putting dragon against dragon and we have to have one that we think comes out on top, who's that going to be for us?
This one's going to be tough.
I think maybe we start with the ones that we know aren't going to make it through.
Well, remember how we were talking before that we had the mischievous ones?
Mm-hmm.
So you had like
Our tricky
Mushu,
dragons.
and you had Draco. I feel like an alliance would be formed there.
Okay. But do you think that Draco is putting up with Mushu's nonsense?
No.
Exactly.
No, absolutely not.
No way. He's going to be around there, jumping around. Mushu's going to be saying bips and bops and just flirting around on the bottom. And I feel like Draco's going to lose it in like 2 seconds. I do feel like Mushu and Toothless would be playing around in the corner though. Little cats just chilling. Or Toothless would be batting Mushu around like a cat.
Yeah, that's true. Like he does with the baby dragons and
Exactly.
the small ones.
I feel like that's what happens to Mushu. I feel like if Mushu's not tricking somebody, he's going to have a hard time with it.
Yeah.
I do see Draco looking at potentially someone like Maleficent and the Marvelous Mad Madam Mim and being able to pit them against each other.
Yeah, he is pretty
Right?
wise and would probably make them bicker back and forth and
Exactly. He
go
picks
after
up
each
on
other.
like the human politics of it all. He's able to come up with plots and schemes. So his trickiness does have an element of being able to maneuver people as he needs to. And with these two, with Maleficent and Marvelous Mad Madam Mim, we know, I have here as one of my little extras, that Maleficent is prone to jealousy. That's one of the big factors in her cursing Sleepy Beauty in the first place. She gets worked up. She can't handle that the other fairy godmothers were invited to the ceremony and that she wasn't. So we know that that's a problem for her. Marvelous Mad Madam Mim, prone to sickness and wizard battles. She gets taunted in by Merlin. We know that she's susceptible to taunts as well. So I feel like Draco has the intelligence to scheme and plot, much like a Survivor episode. He and Mushu could be angling and getting these two to go against each other. I could see that falling out. So I feel like Marvelous Mad Madam Mim and Maleficent might take each other out. If Draco has formed an alliance with Mushu, that certainly moves them up on my list. What about the dragon from Shrek? Where does she fall in?
I mean, I think she'd hang tough for a little bit, but I don't see her making it through this list.
No, I really don't either. Also, I want to know that she presumably has money and is still using it to buy makeup, so clearly not the best. But we could have bought dragon armor. That would have helped us quite a bit.
Yeah.
She's bought mascara and lipstick, so I don't know if those are the goals that we really want
No, this
in our
is
dragon.
definitely not going to make it through the list.
All right.
I don't think the lipstick is fireproof.
No, it does not seem to be. And the mascara isn't tear-proof. As far as I can remember, she cries over Donkey, which, you know, we gotta question our taste in men there too. So really, she's got a couple points against her. All right. I don't think that the Hydra is gonna make it.
No.
Just because we don't have the same
flame.
abilities. Yeah. I like the immortal head.
Yeah, but I don't think with this many dragons and everything else, I don't see it coming out on top.
Right? If everybody takes the head and we go chomp, 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 the Hydra goes down for me pretty quick. It's the same way with the spirit dragon. The spirit dragon has an element of goodness, but because of the bond that you need with Shang-Chi, and because of any dragon that's really functioning with a level of morality, in an all-out fight is going to have a problem. So that's where my other problem comes in with Draco. We know that Draco has a sense of goodness.
Yeah.
How much does that sense of goodness sway him in a fight? How much is he willing to fight against another of his own kind? We know within his own world, the loss of the dragons was really fundamental to him. So I don't know. That intelligence is the same with the spirit dragon. I feel like those are dragons that are going to pull their punch against another dragon. You know, they're going to be like, hey, bro, can we talk this out? The other dragon's going to say no.
Yeah.
It concerns me. The kindness of them.
See, this is where I think Smaug would take out a bunch of them, just because he is pretty ruthless, and if he is guarding his treasure, he's going to do everything he can to just take them all out.
No holds barred, unquestionably. And then also just petty burned an entire human village just because they took one of his gems. He was like, all right, cool, over this, gonna destroy you all. Yeah. So I think that the cruelty, the pettiness of Smaug, that's gonna take him over our moral dragons. Even someone like Saphira, it's gonna take him over them. So like, I do think that he has the advantage there in his ruthlessness. Does that carry him over, for example, the dragons in Reign of Fire? There we have a potential group and we have ruthlessness, but none of the intelligence that we see in Smaug. How much do we think that counts in a fight? Can he outthink them?
Oh, absolutely could outthink them.
Right?
And then if this is going into the late hours where they don't have good vision, they're done.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the same problem. We watch him transition from day to night.
Yeah.
That's true. Excellent point.
So if this drags on long enough into darkness, those dragons from Reign of Fire, I don't think they stand a chance.
I'm going to put the Norwegian Ridge back in with them too, because in terms of ability and size, it's going to rank really, really similar. It even has a similar head shape and physical structure. So if I look at the intelligence ranking there, I don't think that dragon can go up against a thinking creature and really come out on top. Harry's able to beat it again with a broomstick. So I'm pretty sure that if you have a dragon that can reason like Smaug, that one goes down.
Yeah.
All right, our list is getting tighter. I think that we have our dragon collusion.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Mushu and Draco together. We know that it's not going to be our Hydra. We've lost our spirit dragon because of the morality.
Yeah.
Maleficent and Mim, outie. We don't think that the dragons from Reign of Fire have the eyesight, and the dragon from Shrek is too busy in Sephora to come to the fight. We're not fussing with her anymore. So that's going to put my double duo, Draco and Mushu, up against either Drogon, Vhagar, or Toothless. Because frankly, I think that even when you put Smaug in the same category as those, even though he has intelligence and trickery, he's not going to beat our duo of Draco and Mushu in terms of intelligence, and he doesn't have the ruthlessness to take on our Game of Thrones dragons or even the firepower of Toothless. So I think that Smaug drops for me, and it comes down to that smaller contingent.
So we're at Toothless and then the
Game of Thrones guys, and I'm gonna give you Draco and Mushu, but only as a duo. If they split up or if Mushu gets too irritating, I feel like we lose it there.
Which I feel like that's where we're going to lose them at this point.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I think Toothless might shine a little bit, because he's going to outspeed all these other dragons.
Unquestionably. For me, there's no, if I look at it, Toothless is faster than both Drogon and Vhagar on any day of the week. And I think that speed really is going to count here. I think that's huge. Also, the fact that we know that Toothless is fireproof. So Drogon has fire, Vhagar has fire. Those are huge factors within world. But against Toothless, they don't count nearly as much.
No.
Toothless has these energy beams, these bolts that are a little bit different than anything that these other dragons have encountered, and might be enough to really bring them down. And we all know that these dragons do have vulnerabilities. They can be killed by human means, strong iron bolts, etc. So something like an energy bolt might be enough to really carry Toothless through. I'm going to give Toothless the fight against Vhagar just on size alone.
Yeah.
I think Vhagar's too big and too slow.
Yeah.
It's like trying to have, a little speedboat go up against a yacht. The yacht cannot get around the it just can't do it in time. But I gotta say, between Toothless and Drogon for me, really similar. We both have the alphas of their group. Toothless is the strongest out of all the dragons within his world. Drogon is the strongest of the three. We have a deep bond with a human rider. Toothless, and again, they're wild creatures, but they choose to bond with these human riders. It gives them something special. They choose to follow their commands, but also have wills and intelligences of their own. They have, to some degree, cultures and needs of their own. They both can work with a rider, but we do see Toothless at the end. He is given a prosthetic, so he no longer requires Hiccup.
Yeah, and that'd be a big factor, because if he doesn't have Hiccup on him, he's able to withstand the fire, and as long as he's not a direct bite, he's he's still going.
I know. Drogon has the jaws and Drogon has the size, but if he doesn't catch Toothless in speed, I really am not sure. Ugh.
This is a tough call.
I know. It might be that we each have our individual champions and we take this one all the way down. You know what? I might throw this one out to the comments too. If you have a strong vote in an all-out dragon battle, first, do you think it's between Toothless and Drogon? If you had to pick between one of these two, who would it be? And if not, if you think that your ultimate choice is someone that we didn't pick, let me know who it is, because I feel like our list is pretty solid. I feel like we worked some pretty good logic on these choices.
Yeah, no, I do too. But
I am at the end gonna give it to Toothless.
I do like his speed, and I don't think it's going to be matched. He's going to tire him out.
I do think so too. And because Toothless has, there's a wildness to Drogon that is really, like, you cannot bring it all the way out. So Drogon is always with Dany and will follow Dany until the very end, but is not necessarily always going to follow her whims and wills. Toothless is loyal. Toothless is your ride or die. He's going to follow you until the very end. He's going to do whatever you need him to do. So I think that Toothless might come out as my number one in terms of who wins our fight.
I'm going to probably agree with you on that one.
All right.
Not only because I love the character, but the fact that, like, you've seen him go up against these massive dragons in the movies and come out on top. Yeah. Whether it's exploding the one from the inside or going toe-to-toe with an ice giant. But
right. He's got one of our widest ranges of abilities. He's got some of our best skills. And frankly, he has one of the best personalities on our list. So I think I'm going to give that to him.
100%.
All right, cool. That's going to bring us to our next question, though. Out of personality, out of voices, we're going to break this down into two parts, too, because we have some of our talking dragons, and we have some dragons that just have a lot of personality going on. Who do we think is the best voice on our list? Out of our voice dragons, we have Smaug, Saphira, Draco, Mushu, the marvelous Mad Madam Mim, and Maleficent. Whose voice do we like the best? Who captures the spirit of a dragon?
This one's gonna be tough too, because I love Mushu, like Eddie Murphy, one of the best. Oh, and we forgot about Smaug on this one.
No, did I not include Smaug? Okay, we absolutely have to include Smaug. Benedict Cumberbatch, fantastic voice.
Yeah. Once again, he's also a great voice.
I'm going to make a quick aside on that one, too. Just the amount of work that man did to play the role of Smaug. I don't know if you've ever watched behind-the-scenes features. I'm that kind of nerd, where I've watched all the extended editions of all the movies. But he put on a full bodysuit, had the motion capture dots attached to his entire body, and crawled around on the ground like a dragon so that his movements would be accurate. It's absolutely delightful. So, like, when you're watching the actual dragon move through the piles of gold, they mimicked that off of his body motions. It's the same way that they do the face capture. So yeah, I'm gonna give big points to that, just for the behind the scenes.
But my call for this one is gonna be, might just be nostalgia for me, but I'm gonna go Sean Connery with Draco.
That's totally my pick too. It's totally my pick because it's the Sean Connery voice. How do you do better? And I remember being a small child and listening to that dragon speak and just thinking, well, he does sound wise. I should listen to him. That always made sense to me. All right, so that's our voice for sure. But in terms of a personality, because a lot of the others, even some that don't speak, they've got some fun personalities. Who do we like the best? Who's got the most fun going on with them?
I hate to give it to the same dragon that won the battle, but I'm going to say Toothless again.
Okay.
Just the playfulness,
He's a fun guy, man.
Yeah.
He's cute, he's rambunctious, he's dangerous, he's got all the edge. Toothless is a strong contender. I don't think I can completely discount Mushu from this category for me, because Mushu is absolutely delightful. I love his sass. I need someone to speak to me like that, frankly, or I'm not going to get my shit together. He's all about it. I'm going to throw a few bonus points to Maleficent, though, because in terms of a personality, there are very few on this list that bring what she brings. She's got the outfit, she has the charisma, she knows how to enter into a room and leave one. The woman absolutely does not care what others think of her and is willing to go all out for what she feels. So I'm going to give Maleficent at least a few personality points here. But I think my final choice is going to be Mushu. I'm going to bring Mushu in as my guy.
Well, you really can't beat Eddie Murphy, too. He's one hell of a voice actor and an actor in general.
So talented. I know, technically, he features in 2 of our franchises, as we see him as the donkey in Shrek. Exactly. So here, he's either a dragon himself or the love of a dragon, which, you know, I like him better as a dragon than as a little dog. Well,
I don't
Donkey's
know.
pretty classic. Donkey's pretty good.
He's a good character.
All right, cool. So I think that kind of brings us through our list of dragons. Anything else that you wanted to cover? Anybody else that you wanted to touch on? Anybody that gets an honorable mention for you that didn't make our list of top contenders but you think is worth bringing up?
The only one that I thought of was in Star Wars with the Mandalorian, the Great Dragon.
Yes, yes.
I don't think he would have made it through this list.
I also considered the dragon from Neverending Story, but I gotta say, I don't think there was a few that filtered through, but I wasn't sure that one was going to carry. I'm going to give an honorable mention right now to Pete's Dragon. Pete's Dragon was brought up a few different times, and I gotta say, it's not that we mind Pete's Dragon, but I don't think Pete can fight.
No.
I don't think Pete has a mean bone in his body.
No.
What is he gonna do up against Drogon? Absolutely nothing. And what was the other one that we had?
We talked about Puff, the Magic Dragon.
That was it. Puff was our other one. I'm going to give Puff name points, and then I'm going to be out because I got to be honest, I don't know Puff the Magic Dragon.
No, I don't either.
This is maybe one that we're going to have to, if you guys feel very strongly about, maybe we'll go through and review Puff and do a Dragon 2.0 and include Puff on the list. But so far, we don't have a lot of Puff knowledge. So no Puff, no Pete for us. But we're going to throw them on as classic dragons because people love them. Anything else you want to cover?
No, I think that's all I got.
Beautiful. All right, so that's going to be our Dragon Digest. That's us going through some of our favorites. Please let us know what you think of our list. Is there anybody that we should have included that we didn't? Who do you love? Who's your favorite dragon? Who would you pick as a pet, as a companion? Answer any of our questions. We'd love to hear what you guys think. That's what makes it super, super fun, is that this is like an ongoing conversation. We do this all the time. And other people have to listen to us, so it's nice to have people that are into the same thing that can give us their opinion back.
So whatever you got, send it to us, and maybe we could revisit this and do another episode on it if we have enough content.
Absolutely. And if you've got something else that you want to cover, and we are into a whole bunch of things. We've got movies, we've got TV shows. I read like nobody's business. If there's a fandom that you super love, if there's a topic that you want us to cover, if there's something that you think that we should get to, throw it out to us. We're always down for a suggestion. We're always into looking to something new. We've got plenty of places that we want to go, but this is a place for fandoms and all the kinds of things that people love and what inspires them. And if it makes you happy, we want to hear about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic.
We just want you to think outside the box with like how we did with our list of team ups and whatnot and how things could end. And
yeah, exactly. What are your big ponders? What do you sit there after you're done watching? What is the question that stays in your head? What are you thinking about 2 or 3 days later? What are you wondering for the worlds that you're looking at? Tell us what those things are, and we're going to try and get through them for you because we have a lot of questions ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic. All right, so I'm Lauren.
I'm Joe.
And we hope that you had a fantastic time hanging out with us, and we'll see you guys again soon.